यही ये तालिबान लीडर जो टॉप हैं वो पैदा पाकिस्तान में हुए, बड़े पाकिस्तान में। इसमें तो पाकिस्तान की खिदमात हैं कि इनको हमने तालीम दी और अब भी कई पढ़ रहे होंगे।
कश्मीर हमारे अफगानिस्तान का जो रही है, हमारे पानी की वजह है। ये बात हमने बार बार हमारे स्पीकर इस्लामी हमने बार बार इसको रद्द कर दिया। ये एक प्रोपागेंडा है।
Namaste and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narsimhan. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next 24 to 48 hours, there would be a construct of what would be the government or the administration under the aegis of the Taliban that will now try and get a sense or control and run an entire nation as the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. That's what is the announcement, that it will announce its new government sometime tomorrow evening. That's on Friday. But keeping an eye on this new regime's stand on Pakistan and Taliban's support to Pakistan against India is what we will now focus on. Will the Taliban, and what we have seen here at CNN News 18 when we've spoken to Sher Mohammad Stanikzai, when we've spoken to the likes of Anas Haqqani, or even before that in terms of when we spoke to Suhail Shaheen, somewhere there seems to be an effort that the Taliban, as now leaders or in control of Afghanistan, want to be seen or project themselves as those who are equidistant from India, Pakistan, China, US, Russia, anybody, and they want to try and find their own identity and space. And when they say that Kashmir is not our issue, when they say we do not want to get involved in the bilateral disputes between India and Pakistan, and we do not want the use of Afghan soil by any nation, this has and this will rattle Pakistan, who believe that they have a puppet which will do their bidding. That's the perception that they have. So is Taliban really a puppet in the hands of Pakistan? And the admissions and the noises that are being made within the Pak government, does that very clearly show that it is indeed Pakistan that has waged or backed a proxy war and somewhere convinced nations of the world like the US, Russia and China to back this entire assault on humanity, and that's triggered such a big humanitarian crisis on the 36 million population that is Afghanistan. Look at what's been perpetrated on an entire nation that's been fighting a war for more than 100 years now, with various entities trying to swoop in and pounce on it. And within themselves, they've been fighting a war for at least 40 years. Will they be allowed to be? Will they be allowed to find their own feet? Will the Afghan people somewhere have a choice? Who knows? Who's asked? Have the Taliban even bothered to find out whether the Afghan people want them? Will they go to them? Will they set aside the guns and the bullets and go ahead and put the trust in the ballot? All these questions remain. But what is Pakistan going to do? Will it allow? Because on both sides of its borders, it's fomenting a proxy war. And is there enough and more proof to that effect? Let's try and understand this entire Pak-Taliban tango, ladies and gentlemen. Multiple tunes of a rogue nation, exaggeration. See, this is what they said 3-4 weeks ago. Exaggeration to say Taliban alone is causing the violence. Shah Mahmood Qureshi in June 2021. Then what happens? We'll let that pass when he was asked whether Osama bin Laden is a martyr or a terrorist. He didn't answer that question. Look at what Fawad Chaudhry, the Pak minister, says in August, on 16th August. Pakistan will consult international community before recognizing the Taliban. This is what they had said. Today's top Taliban leaders were born, educated in Pak. We are their custodians and they are answerable to us. We have done everything for them. This is the 1st of September 2021. So look at the tone that has now come through. More and more, they are being brazen. And Imran Khan, don't forget, he said Taliban or the Afghan people have been rid of a mental slavery, is what he had said. rushing perhaps to try and give some amount of credence and then choosing the diplomatic stance. Oh, we will also wait and watch like everybody. The question that we ask is the Taliban a puppet in Pakistan's proxy war? And when we say Pakistan, then is there a China hand also behind, which is deliberately orchestrating these machinations? Let's try and go across to our panelists, set up the debate. But before I say hello to our guests, Afghanistan crisis is the issue at hand and the hashtag. Dr. Tara Karta, Qamar Cheema, Amjad Ayub Mirza are with us, but I want to play out what Sheikh Rashid said not so long back.
मैं अब वज़ीर दाखिला हूँ, रेलवे में होता तो शायद और ज़्यादा बातें कर सकता था। अब मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। कई ये तालिबान लीडर जो टॉप हैं वो पैदा पाकिस्तान में हुए, पढ़े पाकिस्तान में। इसमें तो पाकिस्तान की खिदमात हैं कि इनको हमने तालीम दी और अब भी कई पढ़ रहे होंगे। और आपने क्या किया इंडिया ने जनाब? आपने सारी वहाँ दहशतगर्दी की तंजीमों को फंडिंग की और आज आके अब हमारे लिए एक BLA चैलेंज हो गया।
What has Pakistan, what all Pakistan has done for the Taliban and what has India done? So this binary, this is absolutely transactional, that you have to do for us, you can't do for India. Dr. Tara Karta, former Director, National Security Council Secretariat is with us. Qamar Cheema is with us, joining us, Pak Strategic and Political Analyst, and Amjad Ayub Mirza, PUJK political activist is also with us. Dr. Tara Karta, 500 projects, building dam, building their own parliament building. That's what India has done. More than $3 billion of investment to the people of Afghanistan. Not a transactional effort. And the Pakistanis believe we have taught, harbored and enabled or weaponized a group of terrorists and militia, so they should be grateful to us.
That's, that is such a typical Pakistan statement. We've killed hundreds of you. Now do something for us. There's this really strange. What shall I say? It's such a double-edged sword, or rather a double-edged strategy, I should say, not a sword. On the one hand, they are, you've got all these people claiming victory, from the Prime Minister downwards to the Jamaat-e-Islami, to the Hizbul Mujahideen, to various people in Peshawar, all saying the Taliban victory is ours. You've seen that across, and your own network has brought that out very well.
Yeah.
On the other hand, today you've got Shah Mahmood Qureshi speaking to his Dutch counterpart and saying Pakistan should not be left alone. You see, because we need help. We are in danger. We are the Al-Qaeda is going to attack us. The Islamic State is going to attack us. Our nuclear weapons are in danger. I mean, this is the narrative which is being fed outside the country, that if Pakistan is left alone, this entire thing will come back and hit Pakistan. So how do these two things match is beyond my understanding. On the one hand, you have this ridiculous gloating which is going on, and on the other hand, they say we are going to be attacked. So it seems to be a very kind of a paranoia or something.
No,
like
I think this is how it is. They have a story which they want to tell the Islamic world, and they have a story which they want to tell the non-Islamic world. So the core group of fundamentalists and radicals, they want to go about and say, देखा हमने तालिबान की मदद की, अमेरिका को हरा दिया. And in America they will go and say, अरे आप निकल गए, अब इनके पास में nuclear weapon आ गए, तो हम कहाँ जाएंगे? So it's the same story. So it's like a kid with a loaded gun in his hand who will point it out at their head and say, listen, you do this for me or I'll shoot myself. Then they will give the gun to somebody else and say, oh my God, the gun is with them. What if they shoot me? So this is the whole narrative that they are trying to build all along. And in the process, what have they done? What have they? They've killed Pashtuns, more than 70,000 Pashtuns the Pakistanis have killed. But they feel that they are the ones who are looking after the well-being of Pashtuns. They have looked the other way when Shias have been killed, when Hazaras have been killed. What development work have they done? They can't even feed them food. The people who they have left hungry, they can't even feed them food. They are themselves importing material and their Prime Minister is setting the rate of roti and naan in his country. What work are they going to do with anybody? Dr. Tara Karta.
Very, very true. In fact, one of the nastiest things which they have, in whatever else, I have to admire Pakistan's ability to set the narrative. You know, everywhere you find Pakistan is in Afghanistan because of the India threat. Pakistan, there is a proxy war being fought between India and Afghanistan. Oh, come on, where is, you have on the one hand, like I said, a 60,000 force, which is a proxy force of yours. Who do I have? I mean, where does this narrative come from? And this tragic part of it is that this narrative has been sold, like you said, Anand, they've sold this to the Western nations across, saying Pakistan is encircled from all sides. And today, if you see in the news, they are, you know, mourning about, okay, I mean, Syed Ali Shah Gilani died, okay, that's a tragedy. But you've got the Prime Minister and everybody talking about it. And on the other hand, they've imprisoned most of these candidates, the Pashtun candidates of this new party, National Democratic Alliance. 2 or 3 of them have been picked up. So this Janus-faced policy of theirs is one day going to turn around and hit them. Because you know what I noticed? What I noticed is from, say, if I compare to 2001 to now, the slide to the right inside Pakistan has gotten much worse. It's no, they can't see it themselves, but it's like someone watching a game. I can see it. You know, it is, that is the danger which Pakistan faces. They themselves, as a nation led by this Prime Minister who's gloating on Afghanistan, is slowly moving very dangerously to the right. I think that is going to be their biggest problem.
No, and it's not even right. It's hard right, and it's rabid right, and it's very radical right that they are swinging to. But Qamar Cheema, the other day, not so far long ago, you were somebody who said that you don't. Pakistan hates the Taliban. Taliban are wrong. Today, are they wrong or right? Are they good people or are they bad people?
Well, I think as you were India was the chairman of the UN Security Council permanent seat for 1 month. And in your chairmanship, it was decided that Taliban are no more terrorists. So you just tell me, are Taliban bad or good? Are Taliban terrorists or not?
No,
so
what was decided is that Afghanistan will not be used by the likes of Lashkar and Jaish to operate.
So
those who are living comfortably in Pakistan should not be allowed to operate in Afghanistan, is what is being said.
Ask your Foreign Office.
I am asking you. I am asking you. I am asking what I have to ask my Foreign Office. I'll ask. I am asking you. Your own Shah Mahmood Qureshi and Fawad Chaudhry seem a little confused. Is Osama bin Laden a terrorist or a martyr? Your Foreign Minister cannot answer this question.
There is a difference between the two. Osama bin Laden was a terrorist. So listen, Osama bin Laden was a terrorist.
No, but your Foreign Minister could not answer that question. He said, I will skip that question.
Okay, the Foreign Minister will answer for that. I am not responsible for it.
He's your Foreign Minister. He's the Foreign Minister of Pakistan.
You didn't answer me, the Foreign Office.
All this while, so you are saying all this while the Pakistan government was lying because Osama bin Laden was found in Abbottabad. So I'm asking you, so why was a terrorist found in Abbottabad? Why was a terrorist found in Abbottabad?
You are saying Taliban are terrorists, but
they are, sir. The Taliban are terrorists.
Do you know that?
The Taliban are terrorists. The Taliban are terrorists.
But why your Foreign Office doesn't accept
that? The Taliban are terrorists. Nobody has recognized the Taliban. Nobody has recognized the Taliban. Nobody has recognized, sir. Nobody. 1 minute. Don't try and misinform. What has been said is, sir, what has been recognized is the presence of Masood Azhar in Afghanistan, in Nangarhar, should not have happened. What has been recognized is the fact that Lashkar and Jaish should not be there. I am asking you a question. Can you answer my question, Qamar Cheema? Qamar Cheema, I'll tell you what. Don't try and steer the discussion off course. I asked you a straightforward question. Are Taliban terrorists or not? If you say Taliban are terrorists, then I'll move to the next question. Taliban
is recognizing them.
So no, I am asking you. I am asking. So did Pakistan weaponize, support, provide sanctuary to the Taliban?
No, we don't do this. We have never done that.
So Anas Haqqani and Sirajuddin Haqqani have their properties in Waziristan. So that's not Pakistan.
The point is the Taliban were living in Pakistan. If you go back into the Soviet invasion in Afghanistan,
I am asking you. You put them behind bars. How is it that they have property? So anybody who's a criminal can own property in Pakistan, is it?
Listen, you don't.
So be it Dawood Ibrahim or Sirajuddin Haqqani, they can all own properties in Pakistan, but you're not empowering.
My friend, some of them were on the sanctions list. Some of them were declared terrorists by the UNSC. Some of them had money.
So you knew all of that. You knew all of that, but you did nothing about them.
Yes.
What did you do about that?
Into the jail.
At whose behest? So then Pakistan. They were there in a Pakistani jail, but Pakistan did not oppose his release. So America will say, put him behind bars, you'll put him behind bars. America will say, release him, you will release him. Today China will say, stand on your head, you will stand on your head. Tomorrow China will say, you dance there on the borders. And China will say, okay, do away with the Durand line. America will say, give all of Pashtunistan to Afghanistan, you will give it. That's what you will do. So you are saying America told us to dance, we danced. America told us to sit, we sat down. Today China is telling you to dance, you dance. Today China is telling you to sit, you sit down. That's what you do. So you are the puppet. So you are accepting that you are the puppet. Earlier you were a puppet in the hands of the Americans. Today you are a puppet in the hands of the Chinese. Amjad Ayub Mirza, जो खुद किसी के हाथ की कठपुतली है, वो किसी को क्या कंट्रोल करेंगे?
और भाई आपको कुछ पता नहीं.
आप अमजद अयूब मिर्जा हैं? अच्छा, I have no knowledge, sir. I am just going by what you said. You said American told us to put us behind bars, put him behind bars, we put him behind bars. You said Americans told us to release him, so we released him. So I'm asking you, are you a puppet in the hands of the Americans? Now you're saying no. So tomorrow China will say, recognize the Taliban. You will recognize the Taliban.
Another question.
Amjad Ayub Mirza.
You have no knowledge what is going on in Afghanistan.
No, sir. I have no knowledge. I have no knowledge at all. I have no knowledge at all, sir. Sir, I have no knowledge at all, sir. I have no knowledge at all, sir. I have no knowledge at all, sir. I only know this much. Before I go across to Amjad Ayub Mirza, I only know this much. That there is a tribal area, sir. Is the Durand line? Do you recognize the Durand line? Do you believe that that land belongs to Pakistan and not to Afghanistan? Do you believe this, sir? This is only I know. This is what I know. Can we put out the atrocities on the Pashtuns before I go to Amjad Ayub Mirza? Genocide administered in the tribal areas. This is how Pakistan has treated that federal administered area in Pakhtunkhwa with Pashtuns. Largely again, the Taliban are largely Pashtuns. So this is the extension, and they believe this is their line. This is their land. 70,000 Pashtuns have been killed in the last 16 years. Top leaders, youngsters, गायब कर दिए उनको. Blame for human rights violations against Pashtuns. Discriminated, killed, tortured, detained, labeled them terrorists. The very Taliban who they're celebrating, they have put them behind bars and even flogged some of them. This is how they have treated them. Activists missing. Journalists, Pashtun journalists missing. Extrajudicial killings. All of this has been perpetrated by Pakistan, who believe कि हमने इनको पाला पोसा बड़ा किया है. Amjad Ayub Mirza, are the Taliban saying enough is enough now? Are they going to come back and say अब तक हमने तुमसे जिल्लत बर्दाश्त की because we had no other option, but अब बहुत हो चुका?
Well, first of all, this is not the first time that Pakistan has been training Afghan terrorists. It started long before, in late 60s and early 70s, during the period of Bhutto, that Gulbuddin Hikmatyar, who is now a very important person in the Taliban government in Afghanistan, he was brought as a young man and trained in the camps in Balochistan along with other Afghans. So these proxies were created by an army of Pakistan, which itself is a mercenary army. जो पैसा देगा उसके लिए लड़ेंगे, उसके लिए काम करेंगे. So, but at the same time, there is always contradiction. Even in an army, generals have difference of opinion about how to run the day-to-day affairs. So, similarly, the Taliban are not going to be like a very smooth. They are not going to provide a smooth way for Pakistan to control them. They are going to put their own demands as well. And yesterday, Taliban have asked very politely to Shah Mahmood Qureshi to stop acting like their foreign spokesperson. So Taliban were a proxy of Pakistan. They are a proxy of Pakistan. They are an extended hand of Pakistani military. As we speak at the moment in Panjshir Valley, there is at least two SSG battalions, 1,500 SSG commandos who are fighting with the Taliban to capture Panjshir. GHQ, they have set up a war room in GHQ. Turkish and Chinese generals are there along with Bajwa, and they are watching through drone camera telecast. And General Adil Rahmani, SSG commander, is over there at the Panjshir. And there is not enough time for me to discuss the whole scenario because I've got loads of information here that has just come in about Panjshir. So yes, Taliban are terrorists. Yes, they are proxies of Pakistan. Yes, after they consolidate their position in Panjshir, they are going to either themselves or through their brother organization Al-Qaeda. They have decided to focus on Kashmir. Preparations are underway at Kharian cantonment, where 300 odd terrorists from Jaish, from Hezbollah, and from Lashkar are undergoing a 12-week refresher course under the First Corps Commander, Major General, Lieutenant General Shaheen Mazhar, who is in charge of that training. After 12 weeks, they are planning to do something in Kashmir, a massive infiltration through Nepal, Bangladesh, and a line of control and other countries, and then regroup them inside Kashmir. And also, now that Sayyid Ali Gilani is dead, the new Sayyid Ali Gilani is going to be Mehbooba Mufti. So Pakistan has got proxies everywhere. वो पैसा फेंकते हैं, तमाशा देखते हैं।
नहीं, पर इनके पास पैसा, ये पैसा भी तो वहीं अफगानिस्तान से हेलमंड प्रोविंस से आ रहा है, वो ड्रग मनी तो है और कुछ नहीं है। तो ये
ड्रग मनी प्लस करप्शन जो एड लेते हैं, ये टेररिस्ट एंटी टेररिस्ट फंडिंग, IMF loans for development projects, they siphon that money, part of that money, and also they are also involved in kidnappings, ransom. They are involved in
all these kind of nefarious.
They are directly involved in organized crime inside Pakistan. Karachi में 363 पुलिस के ऑफिसर्स जो है उनकी लिस्ट आई है पुलिस की अपनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन में, who are directly involved in running dens in Karachi city. So
sir, I'll tell you what, the point is, the only option, because that country is, that's how they have taken the country, the direction in which they have taken the country, जहाँ पर रोटी नान पर अगर प्राइम मिनिस्टर को उसके रेट्स तय करने हैं, वहाँ पे सिचुएशन आज ये है कि आप रोटी नहीं गोली खाओ. So that is the whole situation that they have reduced the nation to, and it's drug money. I totally agree, it's drug and corruption money which is coming through. This is the Afim and heroin and that trade which is funding it, and the Pak army also is generating its funds from there. And there is a reason why they want control for over all of this. But is Pakistan itself acting as a proxy too for some other nations? See, Amjad Ayub Mirza mentioned China and Turkey, and they are present there. Their presence is also there. But do these nations actually know what they are getting into? Have they not seen the lessons, Dr. Tarakarta, from the British to the Russians to the US? Look at the amount of money the Americans have set back, really sunk here in Afghanistan, because what they have left Afghanistan with now today is a similar situation what it was 20 years ago. So all that was achieved over 20 years can just go down the drain. It's a matter of time. Do you really think the Taliban want this? Do you really think those who believe 20 years later their mindset has not changed? So if the erstwhile government in Afghanistan was corrupt, this is again a bunch of mercenaries. So the world has allowed an entire nation to be handled by a bunch of corrupt groups in the past and a group of mercenaries now.
Pakistan learns nothing. If it had learned anything, it would never have done Kargil to begin with. So it doesn't learn lessons, right? So they are now stuck with this situation. I mean, they're, like I said, they're celebrating victory without knowing what lies ahead. You know, in terms of they don't even care. When a prime minister is gloating over the victory, over the release from slavery, at a time when, you know, Afghans are running for their lives, what kind of a, I mean, how can you do this? It's beyond my understanding. And what is actually beyond my understanding is how the West, particularly the US, buys this argument of Pakistan every time. I mean, they keep, you know, one thing is they keep bringing in these new arguments saying that Pakistan is in danger, then they'd say, no, we'll do this, and everything is bought by the Americans. And then they get aid. So the cycle, but this time, Anand, I think that cycle is not going to work. A lot of people have understood what these people are doing. They've understood the game Pakistan plays. Just like India broke that cycle when we launched attacks on Pakistan, we refused to play that game. I think a lot of other countries are going to do the same.
No,
they're not going to allow Pakistan to game them.
No, I just want to. True, I just want to say there is a tone which is being adopted by the Taliban right across, which is going to make the Pakistanis nervous because first I just want to play out what each of these voices have told us here at CNN News 18, and then we'll get into the overtures. Why we believe that there is a certain amount of a tug and tussle which is happening between Pakistan, ISI, the establishment, and also the Taliban. But first, listen to what some of the top Taliban voices have told us here at CNN News 18.
Projects which are good for the people of Afghanistan, which contribute to the welfare of the people of Afghanistan, development of Afghanistan. And if they are incomplete, they can complete it. So what we wanted for the last 20 years, all countries, including India, should have a relation with the people of Afghanistan.
What comes in the media, most of them, they are false. They are wrong. There is no such statement or any indication from our side. We want good relation with all our neighbors and the countries of the region. There was no threat throughout the history from Afghanistan to our neighbors, including India. And it will not happen at all. They have a long border among themselves. They can fight among themselves on the border. They should not use Afghanistan. And we will not let any of these two countries to use Afghanistan for this.
ये भी एक तबलीगाती प्रोपागेंडा के लड़ाई झगड़े का एक जुज़ हिस्सा है कि लोग कहते हैं कि वो पाकिस्तान और दूसरे के साथ ताल्लुकात है। एक तरह कोई हकीकत नहीं। आपने देखा है 20 साल में आप कोई जनरल पाकिस्तानी हथियार आप कोई लड़ाई में देख लिया।
Well, you have to take what Anas Haqqani says with a pinch of salt because the Pakistanis don't have weapons of their own, ladies and gentlemen. It's all coming in from the Russians, the Chinese, and erstwhile from the Americans. But what they're trying to say is that the influence of Pakistan, they're trying to talk it down. But look at the Pak overtures to the Taliban. They're keen to remind the Taliban of Pakistan's old backing. Ehsan jatana hai. They have to say you got to return the favor, so it's transactional because I've helped you all these years. You better come back and do what I want you to do. Eyes Taliban's global interaction with concern. Look at the attention the Taliban are getting. There is influence of the Chinese, there is influence of the Russians, the Americans are there, and within the Taliban itself, there are those who are who have a certain amount of weight and pull being exercised from other nations too. So where do they come actually? So do they then now, it's like a use and throw. So fears being cornered out of the Afghan matrix altogether. Then the other aspect, if you were to move forward, is they believe that Taliban control on this entire Helmand province. The Helmand province is about 224,000 hectares of opium. That's where the heroin is also made. and that's the source of income. The Taliban themselves are earning close to $1.5 to $1.8 billion every year through drugs. Now the minerals and rare earth, all of that will also come in, keen to play a proxy for China to access this mineral wealth. But what if the Chinese are actually saying, let's just bypass the ISI, let's just bypass the establishment, Pakistani establishment, and let's just directly deal with this group. Let them do what they want to do and keep them involved in Afghanistan. We don't need them here, but we will use their mineral wealth. Dr. Tara Karta and Amjad Ayub Mirza, is that a possibility? Is that a possibility, Amjad Ayub Mirza, that what is happening is this isolated sending of mercenaries and to try and keep certain groups happy, 200, 300 people, 1 or 2 people, and let India deal with that security threat at their end. But in the meantime, there will be a larger isolation of Pakistan, marginalization of this establishment, and somewhere the Chinese, the Americans and other forces directly start engaging with this group which has come up there.
Well, that has already started happening. You see, China, America and the Taliban are already, holding backdoor diplomatic talks, and arrangements are being made. And similar with every other country, I mean, Afghanistan, you see, is important not only because of its geographical location, but because there are more than 1 trillion worth of natural resources hidden in the mountains of Afghanistan, copper and other things. What is the interest of China in barren mountains? It's the natural resources.
Correct.
So everybody is trying to, now play good. China is telling the world that everybody should come to help Taliban to govern Kabul and the rest of the country. I mean, they're not recognizing them, but they're saying that everyone should come together. So everyone has, Pakistan, China, Turkey, Qatar, other countries have already recognized Taliban as the new legitimate, warlord of this unfortunate.
No, but this legitimacy is also going to come at a cost. See, unless Dr. Tara Karta, the Taliban show that they have the will of the Afghan people behind them, that majority of this 38 million population, because the erstwhile government also was there with about 1.8 to 2 million people electorate. So and today Taliban is just a strength of 70,000 people. Do they really have the backing? Because Afghanistan has got many ethnic groups, tribes within tribes, sub-tribes, and also regions. Will they really go out and try and establish themselves as an identity, shed their past and whatever roles they were as guerrilla, mercenary, pipeline police, whatever their origins? Because every nation will want to exert a certain amount of influence on them.
I think, you're absolutely right in that China, for example, would probably prefer to deal with the Taliban directly. Why on earth would they go through Pakistan? It doesn't make sense anymore. They had to do that earlier. I mean, they have been going through Pakistan for decades. It's not that. But now that the Taliban are in power, and if they establish a government which is to be recognized, then they will talk to them directly. That's one. But the thing is, it's a two-way street. Like you said, if the Taliban can get major powers like China to talk to them and maybe invest in that country, then it's a kind of signal to the people themselves that we are legitimate, we can provide. I mean, the Taliban have to provide for people who are 20 years ahead from 2001. People who expect so much more. They expect a certain not lifestyle, I wouldn't call it. The poor things are in extremely bad trouble, but nonetheless, it's a long time, it's a long time ahead.
No.
So they have to deliver. And
True.
That is where their interaction with the rest of the world comes in, and where Pakistan may find itself losing out.
True.
Because it's not going to be just what Pakistan says they can't afford it.
Correct.
I think that's the way it's going to go ahead, and that's the way probably they will deal with India too. I mean, India will also deal with them, because I think in December, if you remember, we made an agreement with the government then, knowing fully well that the Taliban would have some role in a future government. And we committed ourselves to helping the people of Afghanistan. I think we need to stand by that commitment.
See, the point is, unless there is a certain level of legitimacy they get from the people of Afghanistan, the Taliban will never be legitimate and their days will be numbered. The countdown will automatically begin. That's the challenge. This time around, their modus operandi or their approach towards government formation, towards getting into a certain level of credibility and all is different, because Mullah Omar didn't waste time. These guys have waited more than 20 days till tomorrow when they'll make an announcement. Will that be inclusive, even if it is bullied inclusion? Will it be, except for Panjshir and the Northern Alliance, where things have fallen off with Amrullah Saleh and Ahmad Massoud? Because if there is no will of the people of Afghanistan, that means this nation is going into strife, and we are also looking at a certain amount of regional flux. As far as India is concerned, situations are different. Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, the situation is different from what it was in 1996 and 2000. We are in a different situation altogether. Our attitude as a nation is different. We are not interested and we don't covet any other nation's property, but we will not stop short of preemptive strikes. And perhaps the Afghans also know this. The Afghans don't want a bone to pick with us, and they don't want us as an enemy again. The Pakistanis now have to wonder whether now they're going to break up into multiple subas. Pakhtunistan on one side, you have Balochistan on the other side. This Durand line is a big issue. This Durand line is not an issue that's going to go away. No Afghan is going to say that I'm willing to compromise on the Durand line. And there in itself will be the first problem. The Afghans have a territorial dispute and a problem with the Pakistanis. So the Pakistanis have to mind, no matter kitna bhi khilaya pilaya ho, वतन वतन होता है और वतन वतन के खिलाफ के साथ ये नहीं करेंगे, दगा नहीं करेंगे ये लोग. तो आपके तो बस सब खैर मनाइए.
It's going to, sort of be very tricky, because no, like you said,
I am enjoying your talk.
No Taliban leader is going to be able to just say, oh yeah, we recognize the Durand line. And as for government formation, I don't see any inclusivity yet.
Yeah.
All the names that we've been coming up, they're all from the mullah category.
Correct.
Where are the technocrats? Where are the people they're supposed to bring in? Where are the names
they don't have it.
The other side?
They don't have it. We'll wait and watch. We wait and watch, because they're not even finding doctors and nurses, nursing staff at the hospitals to come and man it. They don't even have people to man the airport. So there are all issues, and they don't. And the Pakistanis don't even have that kind of skill. Most importantly, there are 70% of the population is below the poverty line, and the Pakistanis can't even feed them. So who's going to feed them? The only nation that can actually feed them and make the offer that we'll come and operate the kitchens in the schools and feed the women and children is India. Nobody else can do it. Nobody else can really help the people of Afghanistan in this region but India. And that is something the Afghan people will not forget. We're going to take a short break. I've got to wind up this debate. We'll take this forward. Qamar Cheema, Amjad Ayub Mirza and Dr. Tara Karta, thank you very, very much. We're going to wind up debate number 1. When we come back, we look closer home. The Allahabad High Court has posed a very interesting question. Should the state fund religious institutions which are educational institutions which are also a platform for religious instruction? Is religious funding secular by the state, most importantly? Stay with us.